Hi, I'm Bart Hansen. I'm the owner of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you like the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button. And if you want to submit to be on the show, take a look at the information in the description. You got a hand for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a hand from the Beau Rivage in Biloxi.
A place that I have never been to. I wonder if I'm ever
Yeah,
going to
it's
get
really
there.
good. It's really good getting a chance to go.
Yeah, in
But, it's
Biloxi,
2-5.
Mississippi. What's that?
Yeah, it's 2-5.
Okay.
There are two limps in early position on the gun plus one with limp.
Uh-huh.
I have pocket aces in the cutoff. It folds to me.
Yep.
I make it 40. This game is definitely out of the muck for sure. A lot of hands being played, especially pre-flop.
How deep are you guys, by the way? Effective stacks?
What was that? What was that?
How deep are the effective stacks?
So I have 2,400. I have everyone covered. And this actually goes 5 ways. The button calls, big blind calls, and both limpers call.
So the button calls, big blind calls, and the limpers call. So you're 5 ways, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the flop comes deuce, deuce, 6. Deuce of diamonds, 6 of clubs. I'm sorry, deuce of diamonds, deuce of clubs, 6 of spades.
Okay, so flop is deuce, deuce, 6 rainbow, right? Deuce of diamonds, deuce of clubs, 6 of spades. You have aces. Do you remember the suits of your aces? Because I'm sure this is going to come into play. I just have a feeling.
I didn't have the ace of spades. I had, I think it was ace of diamonds, ace of clubs. Pretty sure.
The reason why this is important, and this actually goes back to, if you guys ever watch this, like the hand with Durr. Did you remember the hand of high stakes poker with Durr when like he bluffed like Peter Ace-Gate off of like a trip deuces and bluffed Barry Greenstein off of like aces? He had like
I think I
Queen 10 suited, like he was using like a blocker. Like the board came out like 10 deuce deuce, and he just drove hard and like raised the flop.
Yep.
Eastgate cold called because he had like deuce 4 in the big blind. Barry called with aces. He bet the turn into 2 people and got both of them to fold. It's interesting because they interviewed Barry after that hand. I used to work for Barry, but when you're in these spots with aces, and then especially when you've got a board where the only hand that someone's going to have trips with is with an ace, that's when you look at the suits of your aces and how it interacts with the board. Because if some people aren't calling with offsuit aces, or excuse me, offsuit deuces here, then sometimes there are no deuces left that anyone can have, right? Like if they're not playing 3 deuce, 4 deuce, 5 deuce, something like that. But okay, so it's deuce, deuce, 6, rainbow, deuce of diamonds, deuce of clubs, 6 of spades. You have the ace of diamonds and the ace of clubs. So in your case, you actually have the worst aces, right? Because someone could have ace, deuce of spades, and someone could have ace, deuce of hearts. If you had the other aces, there would be no deuce out there at all. So 6, 6, deuce. Okay. So does it get checked to you?
So it checks to me.
Yep.
I see about 100.
100 into like 200, right?
100 into 200, yeah. And I expect to get called by even over 2 overs. All the gut shots.
Yeah.
Like these guys are just calling very wide.
Okay.
And I'm playing a lot of hands, so I expect to get called pretty wide.
Like you're gonna get called by a 6 here, pocket pair, shit like that, right? I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bet 100. Yeah.
I bet 100. The button and the big blind both call. Everyone else folds.
That's interesting because the button calling is probably going to be strong. And then you've got an overcall, right, in the big blind as well. Now, it sounds to me like you're not this is the type of game where you're still, like, not overly concerned. You could easily still have the best hand here when it goes call, but...
Definitely. I have some history with the big blind. I mean, not the big blind, but the button.
Yeah.
I play them a little bit already, so that'll come into play.
Okay, so the pot now is $400, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The turn is the jack of spades.
By the way, how much money do these guys have left? Because the pot's $400. Do you remember?
They both had about 2K.
Okay, so it was about 2K.
I'm sorry. That's not correct. The button had about, I believe, about 1,400, and the big blind had about 2K.
All right, so button has started with 1,400, and the big blind had 2K. Okay, so the turn is the jack of spades. Okay, yep.
Yes. And I decided to check just for some pot control, and also the button, if he has like, any kind of gut shot, 5-4, anything like that, I expect him to bet pretty aggressively, just because he is a exploitative kind of player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's going to take a lot of stabs. So I decided to check, and he checked through, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this one probably is pretty close. I mean, I don't hate a check, but I would, as the way that you described this game, I would probably continue to bet. I understand. So you're saying basically you have a reason because you think that the button's is gonna bluff at it. But my only thing about that is that almost makes more sense for you to check if you were actually heads up against him. Like the idea that he's gonna bluff now because you've got this other guy that overcalled too, right? So I feel like the bluffing frequency is gonna go down. Because you've got this third player in the hand. So that's why I might think I would just play this straightforward. Like, going with your thought, I think I check more heads up. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the other guy wasn't in the hand. But, okay, so he gets checked through, right? All right.
Yeah, so check through, and the river's 8 of spades.
Okay, so deuce of diamonds, deuce of clubs, 6 of spades, jack of spades, 8 of spades. You have aces without the ace of spades, though, right? Ace of diamonds, ace of clubs.
Yeah, no ace of spades.
Okay.
Yep.
So a backdoor flush gets there. Okay, so the pot's 400. Yep.
Yeah, the pot's 400, and the big blind leads for 350.
Wow, that's a huge bet, huh?
Yeah.
What's the deal with the big blind?
Yeah,
like, is he a fish or?
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's just a young Asian guy, and he seemed kind of jittery, to tell you the truth. I thought it was pretty weak when he made the bet. That was just based on really nothing. He seemed kind of nervous, and that doesn't really necessarily mean that he's strong or weak. But
I mean, the thing when you look at this spot, like for the big blind when he leads for 350, like what value does he have here? Like, what do you think the minimum value hand that he has here is?
Minimum value hand?
Yeah.
Wow.
For this sizing?
Probably a flush.
Yeah, right? Or, probably, I would say, well, I mean, he might have trips, right? He might have trips because it's a backdoor flush draw. But I don't think that there's a value hand that he's betting here that's, like, worse than aces, right? I mean, there's a big, it's a big bet. I mean, plus he just called.
I guess it was kind of like just a sense so that he was weak. I don't know why. I picked up on it pretty fast. And
well, listen, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to fold, but I'm just saying that you're not going to call here and be shown a worse value hand, I think you agree with me, right?
Exactly. It's a value for sure.
Yeah. So he leads. So in that case, if he's polarized, right, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do if he's polarized? What would be the worst play to make polarized? Here? Yeah.
The worst play would be just to raise.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. If a guy's polarized and you want to continue, then you just call, right? Like you can't raise. There's no point. So
I probably made a mistake here, and I just called pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, what's the mistake? Well, I mean,
I just feel like I should have thought, because I did have a player behind me.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I should have thought about it a bit more.
So big blind leads 350. You call. Okay.
I just almost snap call, but I just throw a chip in. I'm like, I just call.
Yeah.
And now the button shoves.
Wow.
He shoves all in.
So button shoves all in for like what, 1,400 total or 1,300 total, right? So like another 1,000, something like that.
It was 9 and some change. Yeah, it was about 1,000 more.
So what does the guy in the big blind do?
He just snap folds. Almost.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So the big blind probably had like 4 or 5 or 3 4 or some shit like that, right? I mean, that's
exactly.
He must have like a busted straight draw. I mean, you got to just like you got to sometimes you got to fold here. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand. I understand that it's possible that somebody could be bluffing you, and obviously the other guy was bluffing. But the thing is that like the other guy, I'm talking about the guy in the big blind, but this is just such a low frequency raise spot here. The backdoor flush has come in, which is certainly viable. I mean, yeah, according to you, he can't really have 6x of spades, but he could have 8s. He could have flopped it. it's just so rare for a guy because he's raising. Now he might be leveraging you because he thinks you have an overpair only, but what about the guy in the big blind? He's not going to just choose to like make a raise here because the guy in the big blind can have a hand, right? Like if the guy in the button has a bluff, he's got to worry about the guy in the big blind, right? I mean, when it gets back around to you, I mean, 350, you make the call, so the pot is 11, 14. It's probably like 2,400, like 1,000-ish for you to call, right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's about 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think I would fold, man. I feel like it's in a very underbluffed spot here. Even though he's representing a very thin value range, I feel like it's a very underbluffed spot.
I thought so too, but
Yeah.
I also thought it was a good move, but
Yeah.
I decided to fold. Thinking back on it now, I would have called.
Really?
Obviously, knowing a bit more additional information about this guy.
Did he show? So you folded and he showed a bluff or something, or what?
He didn't show anything. Yeah, he didn't show. I never.
Oh, so you don't know? Oh, okay.
I still don't know. No, I still don't know what he had.
But you feel like you
In
want
the
to.
end.
But you feel like you want to call now?
I would have called. Yeah, now looking back on it, I would have called.
I mean, the one thing I just want to, I do want to say though, and we'll leave the call though, is that I think a lot of people they will confuse. I thought you were going to tell me that you folded and you showed like a bluff, but you don't know, right? So a lot of people confuse the spot though with players and tendencies, right? Like you think now, now I see him, he's a maniac. I definitely would have called, but like, but even if a guy's a maniac, though, look at the situation. Like he is raising all in against a guy that is basically polarized in his sizing from the big blind. You call in the middle. Like this is it's a very rare situation. It's an entirely different case than looking at a guy and being like, oh, he's a maniac. Like he can't bluff two people here. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I feel like he kind of sensed the same thing I did with the big blind, that he was just trying to make a move, and I feel like he got that sense as well. And he put me exclusively on like somewhat like an overpair, and I kind of under-rep my hand at the moment, like because I checked the turn,
Yeah.
So I could have like pocket eights, pocket sevens, something like that. I'm sorry, not pocket eights, like pocket sevens, pocket nines that I also call. But I don't know, man. It's just it's kind of 60-40 for me, but I would have called knowing the information I know now.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.